number. I now live in Chicago. I called the 1-800 number. I'm concerned. I'm up in the air. So the person answers the phone, and it's like somebody telling a person their life story. Oh, you this, and this happened, and I don't want that happening, and this, and then this, and then the voice on the other line of the 1-800 number said, "Hey, Pat." Now stop right there. Now, those that know me know my nickname is Papoose. They call me Pat for short. So on the other end of this 1-800 number says, "Hey, Pat." And I'm like, I look at the phone. I was like, "Who is this?" He said, "Pat, it's Joey." I said, "Joey?" I'm looking at the phone, matching it up. I was like, "Ain't this U.S. Bank?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I work for U.S. Bank." Y'all hear what I'm saying? Yeah! I said, "Joey, when did you start working for U.S. Bank?" And he went on to explain, what was what. But, yeah! He says, "Let me look at your account. Can I just be real, y'all?" I was like, "Okay," because now Joey is my brother-in-law. 1-800 number. And now my brother-in-law that knows nothing about my finances says, "Let me look at your account." So come on, y'all. You like,
Of
okay.
all the banks in all the land, I call the 800 number, and who do I get?
So anyway, y'all, excuse me. I told him it was gonna be raw. But anyway, he got back on the phone. He says, "I got you, taken care of, no worries." So as I start off saying, first natural, then spiritual. That's the way God works on behalf of his people. What I'm doing, I take serious. What I do, I'm taking serious. This isn't here just for show. It came to me, again, that's the way God deals with me. He'll put, highlight certain things in mind. And with me, I don't know about you that are listening, sometimes it's songs. Or sometimes it's quotes from movies. Pithy sayings. And, some of these things have been said on and on, but it affects me in a different way. And I'll take it and I'll apply it to what I need at that particular time. First natural, then spiritual, because he knows just who we are. And since I brought up Joey, let me bring up another story. I'm going to get to the stuff that I wrote down, but if you hung around this long, let me talk about this one. So my brother-in-law, this is totally separate from that. That was resolved. I thank God and those that know about going to church and testify. That night I had a testimony because, you don't call an 800 number and being weighted like you are, then all of a sudden on the other end, a familiar voice. So whatever I was dealing with, that turmoil on the inside immediately came down and I was still. But this same person, Joey, when he was younger, just slightly younger, I don't know how old he was at the time, but we took a road trip on behalf of his brother. And we were headed to Chicago on a quick turnaround trip. At this time, I'm living in Missouri. And he hadn't been driving very long, very little driver, and it's approximately 300 miles from St. Louis, Missouri to Chicago, approximately 300 miles, like 280. So he wanted to start out, so he drove maybe 25 miles or whatever it was. If he's listening or he get the news, he'll correct whatever I'm saying incorrectly. But then he was tired. I think it was 75 miles. I think he did 75 miles, and then he was ready to give it up. So I drove the rest of the way, but on the way back, I guess he, had mustered enough courage to, be on the road at night, and he headed out. So we're headed back to Missouri. And on the way back, we were, not many miles outside, I think less than 50 miles outside of St. Louis. And as we were going along, I looked at his radio, or looked at my brother's radio, because my brother-in-law's radio, whose car it was, not his, but his brother. And I noticed a red dot on the radio. I said, "What's that?" And just as I said it was that, I looked up down the road, and we're easily doing, back then I think the speed limit was only 65 miles an hour. We're well over 75 miles an hour. And I looked up, and in my mind, because it was a turnaround trip, we didn't rest, we hit Chicago, we were on our way back. So we're both kind of tired, and it's night. That doesn't help. That's not a good thing to be tired and on the road at night, because certain parts of the road aren't illuminated very well. So we're riding back, and I look off into the distance, and I said, in my mind, I'm thinking, that looked like Bambi. Y'all see where I'm going with this? And I pointed out to Joe, I was like, that looked like Bambi. As soon as I finished the words, and again, he gets this news, he can clarify on his end or in the comments, then BAM! We hit it, tore up the car, But when the hit came, I had enough mindfulness, I'll use that word, to grab the steering wheel because he's a younger driver. And I said the words, I said, keep it straight. Because we're like in the middle lane. I think at that time it might have been 3 lanes or 2 lanes. But, those cars were flying by, the few that were still on the road. And I didn't want the vehicle to veer off into one of the lanes. So I grabbed the steering wheel and I said, keep it straight. Because it was still rolling even though we had hit the deer. And I don't know if it went up on the hood or fell down. And we had enough mindfulness to turn the vehicle off the road along the side of the road. So, you okay? That's what I hollered. You okay? And he kind of nodded, yeah, because it was very impactful, but not in a good way. So we got out of the vehicle after that, and I think he got on the phone call, made the phone call. That's a call parents don't want to hear in the middle of the night, especially their only son living at the house at the time and their young one. But we're thankful it didn't go as south as it could have. Again, have a reason to be thankful. Let me sing my song if I'm off key or out of beat. I have something to be thankful, and many more things that I will be conveying down the years. But again, first natural, then I'll get to the few things that I wrote down. So I got out of the vehicle after seeing that he was okay and let him make the phone call. I walked over to the deer that's still in the highway. I went over to the deer and I bent down and I looked at it. And I apologized to the, deer was sorry, for what happened, whatever there. I don't know if it was dead. I'm assuming it was dead because it wasn't moving. So I took the time and I pulled the deer off to the side. So by the time I pulled the deer off to the side, I'll just use the terminology, a couple of cowboys pulled up. They pulled up in a pickup truck. And they said, hey, you guys okay? At least they did ask us that. And we looked around and said, yeah, we okay. He said, y'all want that deer? I was like, no. I don't remember anything after that. Okay, that's enough of that. I just want to talk about a couple of things. Like I said, first natural and first spiritual. I have a whole lot of other stories. I wanted kind of Renee to move along to the scrolling of our table of contents that's online, because there's something I wanted to point out. I'll give her a few minutes to pull that up. But before I even started this, because some might call this spiritual awakening that I've been going through over the last year and some now. There are times that songs come to mind just out of nowhere, and those, this is part of some of the things that I'm going to bring up, talking about gifts, talents, and abilities that are innate or given unto certain individuals around the world. I'm going to point at the globe, around the world, not knowing what to do with them. Some of them think, this can't be real, or, what's wrong with me, and why am I different? Oh, I could tell you some stories about some of the things that happened from my youth up until now, and some of the dreams from my youth up until now, and some of the experiences from my youth up until now. If you stay tuned, stick around, you'll hear some of them coming from my mouth. And that's why I say in one of the tenets of faith that I am a witness with these eyes to his awesome power. You know what? Before I go a little bit further, I'm going to give y'all one more. So, no, I'm going to say that. I'm going to leave y'all with bated breath. I'm going to save that one for the next one. But let me talk about this. So, when my wife is actually handling the setup of getting, the platform, the website in place, And I want you to know, like I said, it's new. So there are going to be some hiccups along the way. Bear with us in this folly. I saw this morning, and I put it down on my phone. I got one of them Samsung phones with a stylus. So I started writing something down. And one of the things that came to mind, it says, despise not the day of small beginnings. If any one of you ever started something new, was it perfect the first time? Did all y'all's, if you had mics, work the first time? Did all those that said, I'm with you, did they show up? Do you see what I'm saying? So anyway, despise not the day of small beginnings. So in this, hopefully something was said already to inspire, to put something on your mind, to let you know you're not by yourself. If you can't convey whatever's going on the inside, he, she, them that created you is standing by waiting for you to communicate. So one of the lines I have on the first page, because I'm going to ask her to loop it while I finish talking, is, and a child shall lead them. That might have been, misconstrued by some when they say that child shall lead them, a child shall lead them. But for me, this is what it means to me. That the area I'm going into, I have not matured mentally, spiritually, actively in what we're involved in to say I'm a man in what I'm doing. No, I'm not. And not only that, this is the side I like about a child shall lead them. Have you ever dealt with a child? They come and, you're their hero. And I mean this in a positive way, because they don't know no better. They're innocent. You said it's going to be this. That child, they're going to say, but you said it was going to be this. They take you at your word. God said to us, and lo, I'll be with you always. Well, Lord, if this is the way you directed me, where you at? Huh? What next? As my daughter would say, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? What next? Or he says, I'm going to supply all your need according to my riches and glory. Where you at? You said it. I'm standing on your word. A child is they hold fast to they carry every note of your word. You said they can have a cookie after dinner. What is going to be that child's disposition if you take it back and don't give them that cookie? Childlike faith in this thing that we're not despising the day of small beginnings. I'm looking for God to do great things, and it's based on faith. That's another one of the tenets that came to me. I am that I am, walking by now faith and not by sight. And if you go to Hebrews 11, it says, for the elders that maintained that hope, it was counted unto them. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report, because they held fast to their faith. I'm holding fast to what God has started. He started this. But here's the catch. I'm willing to follow through and finish it. And if you hang around, excuse me, y'all, I'm caveman. I told you it's raw. We'll watch it evolve together, because he's reaching out. The clarion call has been made.